So there is a survey, a New York Fed survey that keeps track of the confidence level or people's confidence level in being able to find another job if they leave their existing positions of employment. And the survey story today just came out. The survey has just reached its lowest level. The percentage of confidence just hit its lowest level since the survey started in 2013. I'll share that story with you out of CNBC here in a couple of minutes. I want to jump over and talk about corporate insiders selling. It is ramping up, and that should be a telltale sign. Before I start, as I always humbly ask, if you guys would please subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. We're growing the community. It's a free, easy way to support the community. So thank you again for doing that. And one more thing, yesterday I had linked another YouTube video. A longtime friend and client of mine is starting a new YouTube channel, or has started one. The name of his channel is Meet in the Middle. I posted about an hour-long interview or podcast that we did, just kicked around some cool topics about a week or two ago. So I'll link it again today. Go over there and check it out if you want, and show him some love if you enjoy the content. With that being said, let me jump into this first story from CNBC, and it kind of feeds on the heels of yesterday's video I did about the literally collapsing job market in this country. Worker confidence in finding a new job hits record low in New York Fed surveys, the title of the article. And by the way, you hear that that phrase or adage, keep your day job, or don't quit your day job. I hate those phrases. It's like someone telling me to take it easy. The reality is a lot of people are miserable in their day jobs. And so for that reason, I think that everybody is entitled to try to find employment, something they do to pay the bills that they also, somewhat enjoy doing, or at least it's palatable for them, okay? But this is something that everyone needs to pay attention to. But I don't think it's mutually exclusive to having something that you also like to do. We talk about often on this channel about starting your own business, starting your own side gig, doing something that you enjoy, not only to provide some additional backup revenues in case of emergency for the family, in case you do lose that day job or unexpected emergency pops up. I think last week I wore a black shirt during a video I did. I don't know if you guys caught it. It had a white logo on the shirt. And if you guys want to go back and check it out, I forget what day it was last week. And leave your comments below. Let me know if you know what type of business that refers to. It's a new company I've started with two good friends of mine, partners. And let me know if you know what kind of business it is. It's a very reasonable barrier of entry, and it's something that we not only is a huge demand for, but it is kind of a recession-proof business. Let me know, and I'll address it on other shows. So this article on CNBC, in the latest sign of trouble for the U.S. labor market, confidence in the ability to move from one job to another has hit a record low. According to a New York Federal Reserve survey released Monday, respondents to the central bank's monthly survey of consumer expectations for August indicated a 44.9% probability of finding another job after losing their current one. The reading tumbled 5.8 percentage points from the prior month and is the lowest in the survey's history, dating back to June 2013. It says the result further demonstrates the reversal of the Great Resignation that occurred in 2021, 2022, when 4.5 million workers a month were quitting their jobs and feeling good about finding new ones. That number stood at 3.2 million in July, well off the pace of a few years ago and down more than 5% from the same period in 2024, according to a Bureau of Labor Statistics figures. It says a labor market that is ground to a virtual standstill, same thing, has ended the trend. While there are not, and I don't agree with this, the article says while there are not too many signs that employers are laying off workers en masse. Hiring is slowed dramatically. Pause. Go back and look at yesterday's show where I talk about 800,000 workers to date being laid off by companies and plans for a whole lot more. So to say that there have not been layoffs en masse, I would disagree with that. So that has caused workers to stay put in their jobs as uncertainty over inflation and economic growth has caused employers to be cautious about growing payrolls. Guys, one quick thing I didn't address yesterday. If rate cuts start happening with the September meeting and thereafter, as the markets are predicting, that is going to reignite inflation to the upside. From my personal opinion, leave me your thoughts and comments, right? So it's a double-edged sword. They're going to try to save a collapsing job market at the expense of inflation, which we already know is much higher than the published numbers, okay? So it says other parts of the Fed survey reflect the trend. The probability of leaving one's job voluntarily over the next year was little changed, down just 0.1 percentage point to 18.9%. At the same time, expectations that the unemployment rate will be higher a year from now rose to 39.1%, up from 1.7 percentage points from July and a point above the 12-month average. So people are concerned. They are staying put. I will tell you this, in all honesty, this time of year for my business, it's a law practice, real estate and business work, transactional, litigation. It's always a transition time for going back to school. But I will say this year, in 30 years doing this now, I have to say it's probably the slowest. My phone is not ringing. I'm not getting emails from new or existing clients that they want, that they need or want work done right now. I know a lot of them are holding off on projects because they just simply don't have the money to spend. A lot of them are tapping into AI and ChatGPT to solve their own problems so that they can try to save some money. So this is really happening in my profession. I've always said, I don't know when the phone's going to stop ringing. For 30 years, I've always stayed hungry and assumed that the next day or the next month or next year, there won't be any work. My profession, the legal profession, is going to, from my perspective, start getting hit with massive downturn, okay? Because a lot of roles are going to be eliminated, I think, pretty quickly with the onset of AI. So I don't know what industry you guys are in, if you're seeing it roll out in your industry or not. But again, that's why I've started another company. I have some other interests as well and things I do, something that I think is going to have some recession-proof durability, longevity to it. So those are the kind of things you guys have got to be thinking about from my perspective, okay? Become an entrepreneur. Even if you feel like you have to keep your day job, right, your 9 to 5, because there's concern that if you quit and think the grass is greener, that you won't be able to find new employment, which is very real possibility given the statistics I just shared with you. Okay, so stay hungry, guys. Go out, and by the way, this business I started, the cost of entry was very, very low, okay? Certification was low, materials, et cetera, very, very low. There are things out there that you can find, all right? Real briefly before I finish, insiders are starting again to ramp up selling stock. I saw something today behind a paywall, so I didn't grab it, that NVIDIA insiders are now starting to sell stock. Yeah, it's had a huge run up, but if they thought it was going to keep going, why wouldn't they hold onto the shares, right? So this is out of Zero Hedge today. General Motors CEO Mary Barra sells 40% of her stock in General Motors. It was confirmed of Zero Hedge today to the Detroit Free Press that CEO Mary Barra sold 994,863 shares last month, valued at roughly $35.4 million. The sale accounted for 40% of her personal stake in the automaker, General Motors. It says the fire sale, one of her largest ever, included shares linked to performance rewards dating back to 2011, plus a wind down of her estate planning trust. Okay, it says it should be noted these sales occurred under her 10b5-1 plan. And of course, Detroit Free Press cites Wedbush Securities, Analyst Dan Ives says Barra stock sale should not be viewed as alarming. How often do you hear this? You got a massive dump by a corporate insider or high up executive, and they come out and say, don't worry about it. It's really nothing to be concerned about. Of course, they don't want other shareholders to panic and go dump their shares. It says, we are not concerned about this, and it's about shares that hit some triggers, I've said, adding, Barra remains a key part of the GM's success. And we do not view this as a needle mover, right? It's never a needle mover until it is, okay? The selling comes as the Detroit Free Press announced in recent days that GM's Spring Hill Assembly plant in Tennessee will experience several weeks of downtime. Additionally, GM's Fairfax Assembly plant in Kansas City, Kansas, and its CAMI assembly plant line in Ingersoll, Ontario, are also adjusting production plans. A lot of it's tied back to this EV. The EV revolution is failing, it's falling flat on its face, and you're going to start seeing this happen. But look at NVIDIA is obviously not an automaker, okay? And so let's see how it plays out with more insiders selling. Don't want to go too long today. If you don't mind, go back and check out yesterday's video if you didn't see it on the real state of the layoffs so far in the first, 9 months or so of 2025, and expected to get a whole lot worse. Again, thanks for leaving a like on the video if you enjoy the content. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. And I appreciate, as always, your thoughts and comments. With that being said, I will talk to you guys soon.